Hey guys, I'm here with your video for Social Studies Weekly 14. Woohoo! Sources. So today we're going to talk about, or learn about, you're going to read about, I'm going to talk a little bit about, but you're going to read about and learn about primary and secondary sources. So let me share my screen here and we can talk more about it. So when we're talking about primary and secondary sources, these are ways that people get information, or people write information, people use information for a lot of things. So let's read this first page together. Think like a historian. Historians find, select, analyze, and evaluate sources. This helps them understand the past. We can also think like a historian. We can ask questions such as what happened? When did it happen? Who was involved? How and why did it happen? Historians use different forms of evidence such as art and photographs, artifacts, oral histories, maps, and graphs to find the answers to their questions. We call these sources. So all of the things, all the places you can get information from is a source. So reading a magazine, an encyclopedia, looking at a map, looking at art, looking at or listening to podcasts, watching documentaries, all of these things, looking up on Google, these are all sources, places you find information, like your textbooks. When you take your reading test, you use the textbook, the story in the textbook to find the information, to find the answers. So that is a source, okay? So looking at the different sources, there are two main types of sources, okay? Primary sources, which you're going to find on this page. You're going to read about it. I'm going to just skip to here, the main idea here. Primary sources are created by people who saw or experienced something themselves. So journals would be a big thing, okay? Autobiographies, when someone writes a story about their life. Someone who does a drawing, someone who takes a picture, someone who invents something and writes down the directions on how to do that. These are all primary sources. The people themselves are doing it, okay? And then down here, a primary source has parts that help us to identify it as a primary source. When we ask questions, we can know if the source can be trusted. Who is the author of the source? When was it made, and where did the source come from? So these are ways you can know if it's a primary source or not. So this will help you determine. Then a secondary source. Secondary sources are made by people who did not see or experience the event themselves. So, for example, a magazine article. Someone who does an interview, maybe they interview Taylor Swift, and they ask, how was your concert tour you took last year? And she tells them about it, and then they write an article about it. That's a secondary source because they got their information from somebody else. Okay, the same as a biography. So we have autobiographies, we have biographies. Auto means self. So an autobiography is when someone writes it themselves, like they write a book about their lives. That's an autobiography. But if I were to write a book about someone else's life, it becomes a biography because I'm not writing about my own life. I'm writing about someone else's life. So also this is where we see like documentaries or making videos. If I make a video of someone else and what they're doing, this is a secondary source because they didn't do it themselves. But if they went around with a camera themselves and they talked about it, I watched this guy on the Travel Channel, Les Stroud, who's out there looking for Bigfoot, and he is doing that himself. He's got his cameras all set up, so he would be a primary source because he's doing it himself, but the people that are filming him are the secondary source. They're watching him do it. Okay, so giving interviews, all this stuff, these are secondary sources. And then I want you to read where to find the sources and the validity of a source. Okay, obviously you want, if you're doing a paper about someone important, like what they know, maybe the history of your town, you want to talk to someone who actually knows the information. Like I don't have a lot of history about Freeland. I don't know too much. So someone wouldn't want to ask me, what's the history of Freeland? Because I couldn't really tell you. So, but you're going to want to ask a historian or someone who knows, right? So validity of a source is super important. So Now, when we get to the activity, this is a fun activity today. Up here, it says tell what a primary and secondary source is. So what do I need there? I need the definition, and maybe it's what I underlined. Maybe if you look back, it's probably that. So I'd write that down. And then it says decide if each source is primary or secondary and glue the source in the correct place. So you're going to carefully, I would just cut across here and then cut all these pictures out. So you have 4, 8, 12 pictures. You're going to cut these out, and then you're going to either use tape or a glue stick or whatever, and you're going to glue the primary sources under the primary source side and the secondary to the secondary source side. Now, if you have trouble figuring out what is what, I'm going to give you a big hint. Like, look at this drawing right here. George Washington. If I look back at my magazine, oh, look at George Washington is right here. And what side is he on? Oh, primary source. Okay. Same with like this one. Oh, here's a video camera. I know I saw a video camera somewhere. Where was that? Oh, look, right here on the secondary source side. So if you don't know, look at the magazine. It's going to give you a lot of clues, okay? And because I don't think everyone's going to watch this video, I just have a hunch. We'll see when we get to school, but last time not everybody did when I did this. So for another sticker on your sticker chart, I would like you to write the word cupcake. I looked down the wall and there, Zoe has a drawing of cupcake, so that's what I thought, cupcake. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and I will see you guys later. Have fun with this activity, and I hope you learn a lot.